Ghost in the Machine at Mt.Gox. Originally published February 27th, 2014. Written by Adam B. Levine and Napoleon Cole, with assistance from Ben Davenport, Martin Harrigan, Charlie Shrem, and the Mt.Gox Statement IRC channel. Disclaimer. This is a working theory, and as such is highly speculative. While we present our findings to you for novelty, and to add this information to the community conversation, the only real truth in the situation can come from Mt.Gox. Yesterday, we published an alternative theory of where the coins went in the Mt.Gox calamity. But what if the coins weren't really stolen at all? What if the perpetually bumbling exchange simply lost the keys and didn't have the heart to tell anyone? This idea caught fire overnight, and today we pick up yesterday's thread with a few more facts and a bunch more speculation inferred from it. This isn't the first time embattled exchange Mt.Gox has had solvency concerns leveled against it. In 2011, 424,242.42424242 coins were moved from an address under the exchange's control to another address under the exchange's control. This exercise is the digital equivalent of moving $100 from one pants pocket to the other, standing in front of a crowd. You proved you had control of the money without exposing it to any risk. In 2011, this served as an official proof of solvency and succeeded in quelling the concerns of the time. When analyzed in today's light, this same proof now raises more questions than it answers. Earlier this week, a leaked crisis strategy brief prepared by an outside firm for Mt.Gox revealed the exchange had only 2,000 bitcoins in a spending or hot wallet with no cold or offline funds at all. After much analysis, consultation, and consideration, we feel there's strong circumstantial evidence that Mt.Gox should in fact currently control at least 90,000 bitcoins in two yet unspent accounts. Bitcoin's nascent blockchain's forensic is a new science that is a literal follow-the-money sort of operation. We begin our journey in June of 2011, when concerns about Gox reach a head, and CEO Mark Karpelès, Mt.Gox, agreed to take action as a demonstration that he controlled a non-trivial amount of coins, and so was solvent.
Goldfish, Mt.Gox 432109.87651. Is that pattern random, or was it chosen deliberately? By pattern, I mean the fact that it looks like a countdown.
Sharks to go. Deliberate, so be easy to search for.
Mt.Gox. Goldfish, it's deliberate. Want me to do it again?
Goldfish, Mt.Gox. Yes, if you could send like a tiny amount to an address someone throws out, that would do a huge amount to restore confidence.
I broke out the 432109.87654321 already, but I'll make a new one.
Uber cookies. I wonder if I've reclaimed my account correctly.
Zelister, 2.424242.
Mt.Gox. Zelister, 424242.42424242.
Zelister, yep.
Goldfish, just need to see a transaction happen from an account with a huge balance with an amount listed here to an address listed here.
Mt.Gox. Connecting the offline storage and decrypting on a firewall system.
Goldfish, 1 capital A, lowercase b, capital T, capital R, capital V, lowercase r, capital R.
Mt.Gox. I'll make the transaction and push it manually.
Not all here. This would completely restore a lot of people's faith.
Goldfish, Mt.Gox. Post an address and I'll send you an amount.
UFO. Mt.Gox, to get the free month of trading thing, will that be automatically done based on rolled back trades, or do we have to apply somehow?
Mt.Gox. UFO. It will be automatic.
UFO. Awesome.
Mt.Gox. I got all the data of all the affected users here. Goldfish, no, not practical.
Goldfish, okay.
Mt.Gox. Goldfish, I'll send 424242.42424242 bitcoins from a bunch of 50,000 BTC addresses, and maybe on a 42,000 BTC to two actually. One will get the 424,000, the other one will get the change.
Goldfish. Okay, yeah, all transactions get split that way as I understand it.
Mt.Gox. Alrighty, guys, don't come after me claiming we have no coins after that. Hopefully, I'll be able to work without getting too much disturbed.
Goldfish. Ready.
Nanotube. Magical last transaction, 432,000 Bitcoin. Lost 8,000 Bitcoin.
Geist. No, that's just the amount someone suggested. The 424242.
Nanotube.
Mt.Gox. 42 is the answer.
Goldfish. To everything.
6 Echo. 42 is my password.
No agenda market. LOL.
Nanotube. I see.
Goldfish. 42 is the solution to every block, too.
Mavis, wait, what's going on? Is he proving he has our Bitcoin still?
Goldfish. I just ruined the economy.
Mavis, what does this help?
Geist. There's a lot of people crying wolf saying Gox doesn't have their BTC anymore. Wumpus.
Don't send them to the Bitcoin eater, please.
Goldfish. Mavis. Tux is shuffling large numbers of Bitcoin to show they are still under his control.
Magical Tux. Anyway, going to send 1 lowercase e, uppercase h, h, g, w, 6, vqu, 424242.42424242 BTC. Voila.
And he did. On the blockchain, we can see that this very unique transaction with a timestamp that corresponds almost exactly to the IRC conversation. Which brings me to the timeline. The year is 2011. It's June 23rd, 6:50 UTC. The 424,242.42424242 transaction is made. Mt.Gox, Mark Karpelès, makes the 424,000 transaction at approximately the same time and on the same date as the IRC log is posted to Pastebin. At this point, we believe Mt.Gox has control of the coins. 3 weeks later, on July 18th, 2011, those same coins are part of a transaction that breaks them into 2 separate outputs. 3 weeks later, on June 18th, 2011, the 424,000 coins are part of a transaction that breaks them into 2 separate outputs. The coins stay put in their respective addresses until late August, at which point they're spent in the same block. Subsequent transactions following both amounts eventually lead to a very large 550,000 BTC transaction that we're about to talk about. At this point, we believe that Mt.Gox still has control of the coins. August 27th, 229 UTC, a series of transactions are made largely part of the same block to break up the 2 outputs from July 18th, 2011 into many addresses containing 50,000 BTC each. These interconnected transactions are contained in the same block on the blockchain, which means they were performed on a local machine that didn't have to wait for even a single confirmation before being able to send on the funds they had just received. That particular piece of information came to us from Martin Harrigan, who gave us an incredibly large chart that we couldn't even publish because it was too wide. At this point, we still believe that Mt.Gox has control of the coins. A few weeks later, September 11th, 2011, at 1534 UTC, all of the 50,000 Bitcoin addresses are moved to new 50,000 Bitcoin addresses. At this point, we still believe the Mt.Gox has control of the coins. The next movement is in November, when all but one of the 50,000 BTC addresses created on September 11th, 2011 are inputs to that large 550,000 Bitcoin transaction with 2 outputs, 500,000 and 50,000. The 50,000 output is still there, sitting unspent. The unincluded 50,000 Bitcoin is broken into 2 other outputs, 40,000 and 10,000, and the 40,000 output is still there, also unspent. Now, the vast majority of the 500,000 coins are actually moved over several transactions to known Mt.Gox addresses, 2 days later on the 18th of November. Throughout all of this, we believe that these are internal Mt.Gox transactions and that they retain control of the coins. What we infer from this: 1. The custody of the 424,242.42424242 transaction is reasonably established to be Mark Karpelès, CEO of Mt.Gox. 2. All subsequent transactions leading to the 550,000 transaction on November 11th are synchronized, suggesting a single controller. 3. The controller of these transactions created 2 outputs totaling 90,000 that are unspent since November of 2011. That person, which we believe to be the Mt.Gox corporate entity or Mark Karpelès personally, should still have control of those funds. If Mt.Gox does indeed have control of that 90,000 unspent since 2011, it means the numbers on the Mt.Gox crisis strategy draft are flatly wrong, and they control considerably more Bitcoin than the document suggests, or something else is afoot. We've established through several distinct channels that the Mt.Gox crisis strategy draft was prepared at the request of Mt.Gox by an outside consulting firm who used financial and Bitcoin balances provided directly by Mt.Gox. If the Mt.Gox crisis strategy draft numbers are accurate, Mt.Gox isn't counting the coins, possibly because they don't control the keys. Mark Karpelès has said that the coins are unavailable. It's possible that the keys were lost since November 2011, or they're not physically accessible for some other reason. One possible obvious explanation of this would be if 1 or 2 users were owed and received these large amounts, one chunk of 40,000 and one of 50,000 Bitcoins, and then never moved them. While we believe this is possible, it seems highly unlikely. So, as promised, some follow the money and lots of speculation. The only person it appears who can tell us what really happened is Mark Karpeles. While ours is a minority report, we believe it provides a more plausible explanation than the originally proffered 750,000 bitcoins were stolen via transaction malleability theory. This is not to say transaction malleability didn't play a role, rather the losses it caused catalyzed the discovery within Mt.Gox itself that what had been perceived as the safest of their safe bitcoins, the ones stored offline for years in large blocks, were in fact trapped inside a transparent, impermeable vault they no longer had the combination to. Though Mt.Gox's self-induced vulnerability to transaction malleability may have played a role in its downfall, according to what we've seen, we don't think it could be responsible for the entire Bitcoin loss. What do you think?
Hi, Stephanie here. Would you like to turn your book into an enthralling audiobook? Need a persuasive commercial to promote your company? How about a narrator for your explainer video? Here's where I can help. I'm a freelance voiceover artist, and since 2009, I've lent my voice to dozens of audio projects. To hear some examples of my work, check out my website, smvoice.info. If you like what you hear, I'd love to be the voice of your next project. Get in touch at smvoice.info.